So I'll just allow Nerima Wako, please tell us a little bit about your work and also your experiences when it comes to public participation.
I'm the CEO of Siasa Place, which is an NGO that was formed in 2015. And we call ourselves Siasa simply because we felt that when you think of Siasa, it's specific to voting or politicians. So for us, it's about how does politics affect you every day? And then how can you participate instead of being a bystander? So we focus on three main areas: young people mainly, and then educating them on public participation, and then we focus on policy. So those are our 3 Ps. When it comes to public participation engagement, 15 to 24 are the ones who participate the least, and then you have 24 to 35, the next list. The ones who participate the most is 45, 55, 10 or 55, 60. That is the majority of the participants. So it's worrying because you're like, if the majority are youth, especially 19 years old is the average age. Who here is 19? So the majority age is 19 and they have no clue that public participation happens. So there's a big information gap. So even when we're talking about notices being done 2 weeks previously and you hear of it 1 day before, most of the time that meeting is at 8 a.m. Number 2, a lot of times it's in the newspaper. 2 things that youth do not associate with. 2 things. So it becomes very difficult when you talk about public participation because it's not youth-friendly at all. So why? So our work in Busia was to first educate the youth about public participation. And I would say it's been a one year of learning, experiences, but also growth. Because at the moment we can talk about positive stories where we've seen access to water happening, where we've seen youth asking questions to MCAs and not asking questions with attitude. And that's something I've seen where when youth know, sasa wanakuja na kiherehere. So they attend a public forum and then all of a sudden they want to talk to the leaders. They feel like they know the constitution. They are quoting, I'm a citizen. And again, leaders now feel like, now, why are you talking to me like that? So they switch off. So it's about learning how to collaborate, learning how to talk about your issues in a way that you can work with the county. And not only that, follow through and follow up. We've taught this steering committee how to do social audits. And just by teaching them how to do a social audit on access to water, you're hearing stories of one young lady coming and telling us that she went to her county, took a sample of water to go and get it tested because it was looking brown, and she's wondering what's in the water. She couldn't test it in Busia, so she had to go to Kakamega, and she found out that there's rust in it. So it means the water was poisonous for the people, and these people were consuming that water. And then she went and let the CEC know about it. And he had no clue. And just that feedback, because a lot of times even their own representatives who are supposed to be bringing these solutions, yes, there's a lot of corruption. A lot of times we see budgets going and disappearing. But also there are people in those counties that want to work, but they lack information. So the thing about our constitution, it's a partnership. The people have to work with the leaders. We cannot just leave leaders. You guys figure it out, by the way. Tutawafuata tu. It cannot work like that. And so our work is mainly to how do we get young people engaged.
You know, you've given a very good example about Busia County, you know, and that's just one of the counties among all the counties we have in the country. So how do we actually replicate that in other counties? Because then, we just can maybe depend on civil society maybe to replicate that. But then what is our role? You know, we have guys here who are from actually other counties, you know. So is it that we're going to leave that role to civil society to try and make sure that citizens actually wake up and do this? How are we able to actually have the same experiences in other counties away from Busia counties? And anyone who's from another county here, what can they begin to do?
For us, we felt that the budget process was the easiest entry point because the budget deals with everything. Whether my interest would be health, whether it's sports, whether it's access to employment, whether it's building a market. Like, if it's not in the budget, it won't happen. So for us, that's the entry point that we used. We tell youth, find a way to get involved with a budget process in your county. And then from there, find out what your area of interest is and focus on it. Because we can't do everything. And that's something that we need to realize, that it's the little steps that make change. It's not something that you will witness overnight. So when we started in Busia and we looked at the budget and we would ask the youth what they feel their issue was, it became water. Actually, it was two, water and health.
That is in Busia County?
Yeah, Busia. So they're the ones who decided, let's do water, because most of us don't have access to water. And then another came up, let's do health. Because most of us, when we go to the local dispensary, AMA clinic, there's no medication. What's up with that? So we want to find out why. So when you have good leadership, especially from the top, it's even easier to be able to bring change for the youth on the ground. So it's extremely important that even though you attend these participation forums, to identify key players within the county that you can work with. So like I said, collaboration is something that's important, that youth need to understand, that it's something that they must have to bring any change in any country.